And we're live! Welcome to another Wargamers Hangout. Today, we have a very special guest. He is hilarious and fun to play against, and I met him at random cons, and he is Menoth John.
Hey, Ron! There we go. I got booze in hand, so you know it's me.
Alright, so we have some people. Sorry for those watching live, if you are still with us, that's great. I made an original Hangout that just normally you can tune into beforehand and you just go live and it's great, but for whatever reason it wasn't working, so we are going to retry that, and should be good. And if it's giving you an error, then you should just refresh the page.
Well, I'm super appreciative of having you guys bring me on the show here. I've been a personal fan of both of your work in the past, and to get a chance to sit down and chat with you is super awesome.
Cool.
No problem. So, John, tell us a little something about yourself. Give us a little rundown of who you are.
Well, I started off in the Warmachine community back in 2008. Before that, I really was not. I kind of started getting into board games a little bit before that, but I kind of took like about a 15-year hiatus from doing much gaming at all. And when I moved to Utah, I picked up Warmachine and ended up doing some. Yeah, my audio level may not be amazing. Thank you for fixing that, Dan. But started working on that and picked out Protectorate because nobody in Logan, Utah was playing Protectorate. So worked on that, and then I ended up at TempleCon, and there I met Chris Miller, who does the Lost Hemisphere radio podcast these days that he and I started, and kind of fell in love with going to conventions and all that kind of good stuff. And since then, I've been a guest on a whole bunch of. I kind of turned into a podcasting whore, for basically after I got, shall we say, asked to leave Lost Hemisphere Radio. I just kind of did a bunch of guest stuff, helped Chain Attack podcast get started, and here in the last year and a half, I've done my own show, Painting with Menoth John. It's a drinking podcast with a painting problem. So, I play a lot of different Warmachine factions and stuff like that. Mostly right now, Trolls and Menoth. But mostly, I don't win very frequently. I don't have a whole lot to say when it comes to the tech of the game. But I've always kind of stood for having a good time and sort of the hobby aspects of the game more than anything else. But I'm just all starstruck to be on with you two.
Now, so we first met at Warmachine Weekend last year.
Yep.
And we actually played a game against each other in a Scramble.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember who won. I know you were playing Menoth.
So I played in 2 Scrambles. I played, and I won one of them, and I came in 3rd on the other one, which means I probably beat you.
I think so. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah.
You were playing.
I remember now playing you, but I don't remember how it turned out. But I know that I won. I only played in 2 Scrambles, and like I said, I took 1st in one of them and 3rd in the other one. And I'll be honest with you, me winning should probably be something I remember, because it doesn't happen that frequently.
Were you playing E-Fiora with Adjudicator at 35 points?
That would come as a shock to no one.
I seem to remember something along those lines.
It's funny. I've become kind of E-Fiora Adjudicator guy, but I kind of am worshiping at the feet of Owen the Cooler Schindel these days. That guy, I'll tell you, he puts out the most goddamn original. I'm sorry, is this a G-rated stream?
PG.
I'll keep it on the down low.
Okay.
He comes up with the most amazing lists that make no sense on the surface, but absolutely just beat the living daylights out of you. And he has broken me of my E-Fiora habits.
That's good. Yeah, he makes really creative lists.
Yeah, he might be doing the most creative stuff around list builds right now in the game. I mean, so frequently in Warmachine right now and in Hordes you see oh, I'm going to play Runes of War, I'm going to play Family Reunion, or I'm going to play The Meat Mountain, and all that garbage. And here comes Owen with 16 units of Knights Exemplar and beats you right off the table.
Well, that's not totally original. It's just a little more rare to see, but it's existed.
His theme is, I'm going to break the game by sticking more multiples of the same unit into a list than you are.
I could bring more multiples in my Mindless tier list with Bone Grinders.
Hey, that's legit. That's a lot of, oh my god, you're rat what?
Yeah, Bone Grinders are great. I need to play more of my pigs, so that's the objective, especially because a new pig tier just came out.
Yes,
for Arcadians.
didn't it?
And you can bring Goraxes, which is like a circle beast with Primal. So you're like, oh, hey, I can bring that with pigs. Not that bad.
It's not really frequently that you'll hear me talk about the marketing genius of Privateer Press, but that one's freaking genius. Shield guarding
as long as we're buffing pigs, I'm happy.
Yeah, shield guarding Goraxes and pigs, and primal pigs. Holy cow!
Oh, jeez, is that what that's all about now?
Yeah, so basically the new tier list was just released in the newest new quarter. It's Arcadius, and you have to bring like 6 war beasts in your battle group. If you bring, and you can bring Goraxes. If you bring Goraxes, then they have shield guard, and they count as pigs. Pharaoh, whatever. And if you bring 3 war beasts, then you get a free razor boar. So, I mean, you could go really overlord on war beasts. But you have to also bring Targ, that's okay, because he helps with tier management and stuff. And what else?
There's at one tier, I believe, you get +2 to your deployment. Yeah,
so you get a little extra deployment. You also have to. You can only bring slaughterhousers and bone grinders. I'm pretty sure you can't bring.
But in so many problems, this thing fixes. All of a sudden, you put a couple of Goraxes in the back, sitting by Arcadius, and he's immortal. I mean, you're not gonna snipe him out. Meanwhile, you've got primal warhogs as far as the eye can see.
Warhogs are pretty much like the worst war beasts in the game by far. But with Primal, maybe they have some potential.
They'll be frenzying, but who cares?
That's true. It's fine. It's fine. Just swarm. Just swarm.
Exactly.
I believe the phrase is front toward enemy.
Yes, indeed.
Well, wait. Arcadius' feat is everyone in his battle group frenzies, right?
Yep, I believe so.
Yeah. So you can load them all up, and then feat, and make them all frenzy. So it's another boosted attack, and then you can remove Fury from them, because they frenzied.
Yep.
Oh.
So you have one really awesome turn. Or you can always just run up again. So if you get like a few lines, you can like run up a bunch of guys around a caster, and it's like you get that extra distance, and then you feat, and then they all get a boosted attack frenzying against that enemy model. So some janky stuff, but Arcadius always he's just really weak, and his list is too slow, and he just gets sniped. So this might fix some things, and his war beast will actually punch with proper war beast strength. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I haven't bought Arcadius yet. I have a bunch of pigs. I haven't had a reason to buy Arcadius because I was always intrigued about Midas and Butcher and Helga is coming out. So maybe we'll check out Arcadius as well.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm glad to see the pigs get something. For gosh sakes, I mean, you talk about folks that have potential, the beginnings of psychological problems developing from what faction that they're bringing. Man, they really deserve some toys. Anybody that's been playing pigs, God bless them.
Well, kind of classically considered the joke faction for so long. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting for those who stuck around, or like most people who just had it as an additional faction to what they play.
Yep. By the way, we have already talked more tech on this show than I would talk in like a month's worth of my own show.
I've heard your show. You talk about alcohol a lot, but then you also do talk about the game. So.
You ought to come on, Miranda. You ought to come in the chat room. The Brushheads are an amazing group of fans. We're small, but we're legion.
Oh, it's a good show.
Good times to be had.
It's easily the best show on the internet that features my hands.
There you go.
Just pretty much, you get to see my hands doing stuff like this, painting and whatnot. So you want to hear something funny? We're talking about cons and stuff like that. Major Tusk, Andy Welton from the Madison area, who is kind of a driving force on the hobby side at War Machine Weekends. He's the guy that organized the hobby, I don't know what they're calling it, the kind of the hobby room kind of a thing where everybody's in there building models and airbrushing and doing all kinds of stuff. He wants me to do a class. And I'm like, wait, have you even watched my show? Because my stuff isn't that great, and what's my class gonna be about? How to paint while drinking? I mean, seriously.
That is a skill in itself, though.
Exactly.
I was just saying, kind of a bigger demographic than you realized.
How to pour rum while painting, and not to accidentally grab the brush water and drink it.
I was just thinking. Words out of my mouth.
Yeah. Hey, that's a legitimate risk, especially if you drink tea and you keep your other stuff in a teacup. It's a terrible, terrible risk.
You keep your brush water in a teacup, Miranda?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, she's all classy and stuff.
Where's my?
I'm gonna be so sad when this runs low. By the way.
Painting cup.
Nice.
I don't even know where my painting cup is. But
see, you're down in Albuquerque, so you have to use like cool ceramics because it's like law. There.
I don't like everything has to be made of stucco, and I always have to wear turquoise or what?
Absolutely. I mean, everything has to be in like Adobe or whatnot. True fact. I actually have spent a lot of time in Albuquerque.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, the General Mills plant out on Paseo del Norte.
Yeah.
I started that plant up.
No kidding.
Yep.
One of our meta players works there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I was an engineer for General Mills before I worked for Starbucks, and back in 1992 or 93, you were like what, 4 at the time?
No, I was like 9.
Yeah.
8.
So you were playing kickball, and I was making berry kicks.
And I was devouring them.
Well, good for you. Thank you for my mortgages. Thank you.
That's awesome. What did you like about Albuquerque? I'm gonna quiz you now.
I first of all, I love the mountains.
Yes.
The Sandia Mountains are beautiful, and I used to live up around. Oh God, I'm starting to forget. But there was a rib place out there that it caused me to put on like 10 pounds.
Oh wow.
It was a sports bar, but man, they had some great friggin' ribs. And the southwestern food, of course, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
But
it is good.
My favorite Albuquerque memory is, and I learned to respect the problem that southwestern states have with snow. Because everybody from my part of the world in the Midwest hears about, oh, they got an inch of snow in Albuquerque, and everybody lost their damn mind and drove off into the ditch. Bullshit. That's a problem in Albuquerque. Mostly because you guys don't get nice, fluffy, white snow. No, you get a 1/4 inch of ice rain, followed by a 1/4 inch of snow, which polishes that ice to a level of low friction that even a Canadian can respect.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to visit. It may be in the fall.
Man, that one time they get ice though, it's like trucks going up a 1% grade start sliding backwards. It's insanity.
That happens occasionally, but mostly we do have fluffy snow. We just have really bad drivers.
See, here I'm trying to cut you some slack, and you give that to me.
I love where I live in Albuquerque, but that definitely has its drawbacks. The drivers are one of them.
So are you on the north side of town, or are you down on the south side of town?
No, I'm on the east side of town. I'm actually butted up next to the mountains because I like to hike.
That's super sweet up there.
It's very nice. Very hard to get up to this close to the mountains. So Dan will know he's coming to visit next month. I'll show him all the crazy hiking trails. Although he's been climbing all these dang mountains lately, so I don't think I'm going to be able to tire him out.
Are you going to take him on the world's longest tram ride or whatever the hell that thing is?
You know we lost that record. I think it's
Aww.
like the longest in North America or something like that, or the Northern Hemisphere. No, probably just North America.
It's probably
But,
like 3 Asian guys built some shit over this huge like canyon and God knows where with like a roll of dental floss and roller skates.
I'm pretty sure China did take the title, actually.
Yeah, go figure that. Who could have seen that coming? They did it for 50% less too.
Probably.
Several people died, and nobody got compensated.
Keep crunching, we'll make more.
So as far as the cons, then, when did you start really running the convention circuit, John?
The first con I ever went to was TempleCon 2010.
2010, okay.
And I was very lucky that Norbert Brunhuber from New Jersey, I'd gotten to know him through my work at Lost Hemisphere, and he kind of took me under his wing and he introduced me to a whole bunch of the community legends, people like Devil Squid, and I got to know Jake Van Meter at that point and stuff like that, and introduced me to a lot of those folks, so that I had this like really super amazing experience at TempleCon in 2010, and I was like, wow, this is fairly awesome. I should do this more frequently. And I've been to like 3 or 4 TempleCons, and I've been to one Lock and Load, where I discovered that Seattle is really expensive from a standpoint of going to a con. And at first, the original Lock and Loads weren't all that awesome, but I think I'm gonna try and give it a try next year, because from what I understand, the new venue is something to behold, and it's a lot bigger. There's a lot more space, a lot more tables, and things like that.
Yeah, I was able to go this last year, and that was my first Lock and Load, but it was just huge. Like, yeah, it was like the massive hall. There was always empty tables. There was always plenty of space to play.
Plum is doing such an awesome job as convention coordinator. I knew Mike from back when he was in the Chicago Meta, and to see what he's done with Privateer's presence at conventions has just been remarkable. My hat's off to him. He's doing a great job. Then I went to Warmachine Weekend, and that's just a religious experience. It's such a good con. This will be my 3rd year in a row going to Warmachine Weekend, and Carl Morgan does such a good job of putting that show on. It's at least as good a Warmachine con as it is a board game convention, because in the daytime you play Warmachine, and at night everybody kind of goes up to the rooms that they have in some of the upper floors and plays board games until God knows what time of the night. Epic werewolf games. It's so much fun.
Don't forget about Ship Captain Crew.
Oh my God, yeah, Ship Captain Crew. I won like $35 the first time I played that game.
I won 60.
Oh snap!
I mean, this was like 4 hours, 2 nights in a row, so a total of like 8 hours of Ship Captain Crew. I was like addicted.
Did you get the Ship Captain Crew T-shirt?
I was going to, and I was like, all right, but I had to gamble more. I was like, no, gotta play more. I'll get the, and then they sold out. They only had like 20 shirts. I want that shirt so bad.
So, funny true story. My ex-wife is, for the 2nd year in a row, going to be doing chair massages at Warmachine Weekend this year.
That's your wife?
That was my ex-wife. Yeah.
Oh, your ex-wife. Okay.
Yep. My second ex-wife.
I was like, what's going on here?
Married, not good at staying married. So yeah, that's my ex-wife, Michelle. She was doing the chair massages last year. She's going to do them again this year. Only now this year, because she's got her license, she can actually like take donations and stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. I remember looking. I was like, maybe I want to. And then people were just like lining up. And I was like, if there's a free moment, I'll go for it. But
she's super good at it. I mean, the story between her and I is that I got married too fast after my first marriage broke up. She's a super great person, just not for me. We can't live underneath the same roof. But she's a super cool person, and we have a great boy together. And so she does a great job. And Carl had her in last year, and she's gonna do it again this year.
Nice. That probably works out real well. All these people, like, they're in the middle of their tournament, and they're like, "Oh man, I've got 10 minutes. I can relax."
I know, right? I mean, you stand over those tables, and I mean, your shoulders hurt, your back hurts, all that kind of garbage. It's just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, I bet it's harder when you're tall, because the tables are only so high. There's a lot more bending over.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, other than War Machine, I mean, I go to Adepticon because the darn convention is 40 minutes from my house.
Oh wow. 19 hours from mine.
Yeah, yeah. I was mentioning, quite frankly, either of you two, if you're looking at Adepticon for next year, Casa John is totally available. So just give me a shout, and I've got plenty of bedroom space. I'm actually living in the house I grew up in.
Oh wow.
And I'm renting it from my brother and sister. It's a weird deal, but it works out pretty cool.
It's a family heirloom.
It kind of is. They're way more attached to it than I am, but it's good. It's cheap. Kind of love it.
There you go. Yeah, the first con I ever went to was War Machine Weekend, where we met for the first time.
Talk about that, man. Talk about starting on the right foot.
Yeah, I was just like, wait, these are what cons are like?
I know, right? Let me get this straight. I paid $35 and maybe some hotel fares, and I could make new friends and like party for 4 days.
Well, my budget was more like $600.
Yeah.
With just over $400. It was about $450 airfare.
Yeah.
But, yeah, or either that or a 24-hour drive. You know.
No, don't do it.
Living up in the white north of Canada, but no, I was thinking about going this year, but then I heard it sold out. You were telling me?
Yeah, it sold out in about 3 days.
Dang.
Carl's got himself a monster on his hands. He's in a venue right now that he's locked in this year, and then he's got a new bigger venue next year. But the word's gotten out. I mean, with the emergence of the podcast community, where people are podcasting and doing live streams like we're doing right now, a lot of people are getting exposed to and hearing that, man, we've got this awesome party we go to in November, and we all sit around and play games and geek out, and it's just, 3 days of debauchery. And so everyone was signing up. And here's the beautiful thing about the way Carl runs War Machine Weekend is that, in most cons where you have a pre-registration thing, like let's take Lock and Load for example, they open the registration for the con, and then they have, okay, we're going events live now, and then all the websites in the universe crash, and you're all trying to get into like a 64-person field for some event that nobody can get into because the server just died. Well, Carl does it differently. Carl has sign-up sheets for every event only available 24 hours before the event starts. So if you want to get into a very hard kind of thing, just show up at the convention and sign up. And if you don't get in, by the way, they're running 8-man scrambles, and they've got all kinds of other events that are going on too. So,
yeah, for those of you who don't know what scrambles are, they're basically like mini tournaments. So they're 8-man, either 50-point or 35-point tournaments, and you just play. And there's like tiny little prizes of like measurement tokens and dice of different colors, like gold, silver, like bronze, and they're just really cool. You get to meet new people, and if you don't sign up for the other big tournaments or whatever, or if like I was playing a last chance qualifier and I lost my 2 first games, and so I was like, screw this, I'm not going to keep playing. So I dropped out and played some scrambles, and they were just a lot of fun. Scrambles are awesome.
Oh, that's where it's at. There's no two questions about that. And then what's funny is when you and I played, the word hadn't gotten out yet on the 8-man scrambles.
Yeah.
And then the word got out, and then they became so hard to get into because you'd have people like 5 people deep in line to try to get signed up for the next scramble. So this year's going to be fun. Next year's where it's going to be the moneymaker, because as he gets more and more space in there, The number of scrambles are going to expand. The number of Iron Arena tables are going to expand. Iron Arena is fun, don't get me wrong, but the scrambles where the action's at.
It really is. It really is, because you get that like tournament competitive feel without like having the crazy stress or having the crazy list format. Oh, is this perfect? Is this optimized? Or whatever. So you just play and it's fun.
Yep. I also made the move this year. I went to Kingdom Con this last year and discovered that I will never share a room like ever again. Because I got in on this thing where there was like 8 of us in a suite, and I blew in about 2 o'clock in the morning, and somebody had claimed my couch that I was going to sleep on, and so the only thing that was left was the double bed that was left in there. So it's like, yeah, no, sweet, we're at a con, 2 guys, we're going to sleep in the same bed. Turns out I'm pretty secure in my masculinity. Okay? I'm not worried about these things. This guy was less secure in his masculinity than I was. I get woken up about 15 minutes later saying getting yelled at that we're not going to renegotiate the sleeping for tonight. I ended up sleeping in the bathroom in the tub.
What?
And I'm like, he could be damn glad that I was 3 sheets to the wind when I blew into that room, because I'm telling you right now, physical violence could have resulted from his attitude. But I went and slept in the bathroom, and I decided that I would take my cue from the 1% or the 99%, whatever, and I would occupy the bathroom. Because if there's a strategic place to occupy in a hotel room, it's the bathroom.
Yeah.
I got in the bathroom, got in the bathtub with a couple of towels that I used as sheets, and I locked the door. Screw you people. Good luck going to the bathroom. But then I got my own room the next night. And that was paradise. There is no money in the world worth sharing a room for me ever again.
Why can't you sleep in a bathtub?
Well, the bathtub, I mean, it's like, okay, I had the tile floor or the bathtub. I figured the bathtub would be like kind of contour shaped, and it might, because, drunk people, they sleep in bathtubs, right? That's kind of what they do. And in case they throw up, I guess. I don't know. I hadn't had this experience before. I was kind of using the hangover as like a tourist guide at this point. And I decided to sleep in there. That didn't work worth a crap. But the next night, I was in a bed, in a room, by myself. Rock on!
Oh, that's great. No, I was just at I just went to a tournament this last weekend, actually, up in Kamloops, which is about an 8-hour drive from where we're at. So for the weekend, we left right after work on Friday, got off work early, drove all the way there, arrived, went to bed, got up early, went to the tournament, played first day of like qualifiers, and I actually qualified for the top 8. I won 3 games in a row, so that was awesome.
Woo-hoo.
That was super awesome, and all the other guys who were I considered way better players than me weren't able to get in. So I dodged some guys, got lucky. My last game, I had lost. Okay, it was P. Haley and 3 heavy Legion War Beasts against me, and Vale was like sitting over in a corner over on the side, and I was just like, "Duh!" And somehow it was 4 heavies. I killed 3 of the heavies in one turn with like some decent rolls. They were kind of. I had 2 Colossals, so they died.
Oh, wait. All of a sudden, this story starts to make more sense.
Yeah. So anyways, they had died. The 2 Colossals had died. And it was just P. Haley versus 4 heavies. And somehow, I killed 3 of the heavies, and the other one was a Ravagore over in a forest, so he was kind of like far away. And the next turn, I took a free strike, went down to 3 HP, and ran over to the flag in Incursion. So I got 2 control points. I was like, well, if I'm going to lose, might as well get a couple control points.
Yeah.
And then he goes on his turn, and he forgets to contest the flag, and so I get 2 more, and then it was my turn, and I won. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I had lost this game, and it was kind of janky because the only way he could get someone over to contest, because some of his beasts frenzied, so he couldn't run them over, his like shredders and things that were...
Yeah.
He had to go with Vale first, kill one of the pot bearers, whatever, so he can get 1 more soul, So he had 3 souls, then he'd spawn something and run to the flag. So it was kind of weird. And then he activated the pot, but the pot doesn't have a leader, so they can't do a charge run order or a run order. So they advance their 6, and they're like still an inch out of the contesting of the flag, and all of a sudden he's like, oh no. He only put 2 souls in the pot, and I was like, I just got lucky, like in that game. It was like that was the messiest game I've ever played. But then I got in the final, and then I went to the next day.
But dude, you beat Legion, and somewhere an angel got it.
I beat Veil tier list. That's the issue here. Veil 2 tier.
Well played, sir.
Thank you. So, anyways, I get to the top 8, right? And there's next day, and there's another 3 games. Playing my first game, and I have everything going great, and then I'm like winning, but I got a little over anxious and killed too many things, and didn't use my Tactical Arcanist core to put down a cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden, Madrak 2 had a line on me, and it was a little janky line, but he hadn't feeded yet.
Oh.
And so it looked like he was just out of Temporal Barrier. I was playing T. Haley again. So he had to charge forward and then throw his axe.
Yep.
With his feet. And it was about a 50-50 chance he'd kill me.
Mm-hmm.
And then his dice just exploded, and then Haley just got obliterated. Like, it didn't even matter how much life I had before or how much armor, if I had Arcane Shield on me or not. It doesn't matter. It was like 665 on damage. It was like, it's just like, ah. So I lost that game. Next game, I played another Madrak 2 freaking double war, like, crazy list. So saying, all right, I'm more confident. I get Madrak down to 1 HP for 3 turns in a row, like killing all his stuff, using all his transfers. Just like, okay, one more hit, one more damage roll, and a tough check, and the dice would not do it for me. And it was like, oh, I hit you so hard, you have to transfer to a beast. Both your beasts are so low, and it killed the beast exactly to the hit point. And so I did
back.
So he was like this close to a tough check, like 10 times that game, and it never happened. And then eventually he just killed me, and it was just like, ugh. And then the last game I was actually playing as Bradicus. Is that his name? Yeah, the new circle caster with all the stones. He is cool. He is so cool. Yep. With the stones in his feet, like he can get those slow war beasts, those so far up the board, so fast, and kill lots of things. But anyway, same thing happened. Both my Colossals had died. He still had lots on the board. Bradicus only had 2 transfers and was hurt a little bit. And I shot a bunch of hand cannons at him, and I attacked an Arcanist Core, all this stuff. And then Dougal comes up. He's the last hope. He's got his quad iron at POW 10. Right? He has no more transfers left. Dougal walks up. He's like, do. 5's a hit. Dice -7. It's like, ding, ding, plink, plink. It's okay. And an 8 to kill, roll a 7. Brings him down to 1 HP. Oh. I was like, no! Last shot, roll a 4. But it was great. There were so many people around the table. They're like, Dougal's gonna do it!
Yeah. I love those games when you start seeing the other table and like crazy stuff is going on. Starts getting a crowd. People start rooting.
It was the jankiest assassination ever. I was surprised how much damage I was going to put on Bradicus. But so I lost all 3, so I came in 8th. But 8th out of like a 58-man tournament, I'm still very happy with that.
Oh, you can't beat that. There's no shame in that game.
No, it was good. And the best part was none of my games were like one-sided. They're all pretty close. I was like winning or had a very strong possibility of winning if the dice were just a little bit better. So I was very happy with my playing.
Well, good for you, sir.
And I was Sturgis as one of my casters. He's great. No, people are still figuring him out and don't think he's very good, but I think he's a great caster.
I'm sorry, you broke up just for a second there, Dan.
Oh, Sturgis. I was playing Sturgis.
Sturgis?
The new Kickstarter.
The Cygnar version of Sturgis is darn good.
Mm-hmm. He's fantastic, and I don't play him with Stormwall even.
No, but the guy that predominantly is my guest on my Brunch Machine podcasts. For those of you who are kind of wondering, I have a stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Menoth John. If you follow that, I usually will do my Sunday night show at 7 p.m. Central, and then I'll also have my Brunch Machines on Saturdays sometimes, where my friend Zach will come over, and he'll play a lot of Cygnar, and he's played Sturgis before. The one time that I beat him with Sturgis, he feeded into a suboptimal place, and a POW 26 Judicator hit him once. And then Sturgis wasn't alive so much anymore.
No. No, Sturgis does not stay alive if he gets hit.
Judy, she hits real hard. Real hard.
So hard with friggin' what does Fjord give him?
Oh no, this is Sevy one.
Oh, Sevy. Oh well, it doesn't matter.
Sevy one with Ayana pulling off a harm.
Oh, she got the harm.
Wow.
That list has every tool in the box.
That's
like
an 8 hit.
It's like, oh yeah, yeah, it turns it into a Mat 9 POW 25 fist.
Sounds
pretty good.
That's pretty good, considering you can have 3 focus on it. So you get 5 attacks.
Oh yeah, it's real hard.
Yeah, Mat 9 is so scary. Like you're kind of like, oh, I'm at defense 16. The worst part is that it doesn't even matter if you charge him, because Sturgis is cool because he's got defense 16, which is pretty high, and then reversal. So if you charge him and miss, you're knocked down.
Yep.
But Judicator can't be knocked down.
Judy don't care.
She's a sexy lady who will not go on her back. She's classy.
But not for nobody. Nobody puts Judy in the corner. So, Miranda, what have you been up? I mean, Dan and I have been monopolizing this thing mostly because I run off at the mouth. What have you been up to lately? What do you got coming down the pipe at us?
Mostly Malifaux stuff, actually. I've been in this league that Dan's part of too on Vassal for playing Malifaux, which has been kind of the theme this month, and working on a video for that, and then probably go back to Warmachine shortly. I'm just, it's been so occupying that I haven't actually played Warmachine in like a month, so I'm kind of sad listening to you guys. I'm like, oh, I missed that. I need to go to my game store.
So, do you play anything other than Khador?
You know, I don't faction hop at all. I've just been Khador, and I've always been Khador. When I played 40k, I was Sisters, and I was always Sisters. I play Malifaux now. It's like I just pick the one, and I know it's even good, strategically speaking, to learn another faction by playing them, and I even own other factions, but I don't play them. So
I own Retribution. I never play them, mostly because they suck.
I don't know about that. Retribution's pretty. They have amazing troops.
They got better. They got better here recently.
I don't know. Maybe China Strike Force has been around a while, like the bastards, and then they have the new ones that can shoot in melee. I guess are the ones you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, the riflemen can CRA into melee, and then now they can finally ignore stealth. There's a reason to bring them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the Warmachine weekends I went to, I brought my Retribution, and it almost caused me to quit the game because it was so frustrating. But if it were not for having brought my mercenaries, I probably would have just stopped playing Warmachine halfway through the weekend. But the Thane has gone an awful long ways towards fixing that, and I need to finish my Imperatus. It's about half painted at this point. But boy, that frickin' Jack is a lot of work to get off the table. Holy cow.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Twice. So.
I had Mulg get into it one time when I was playing Mulg, and it took every attack Mulg had, including his affinity, to finally get the damn thing off the table, and that was with the Rage Animus up.
Holy crap! But that's like you can kill a colossal with that.
That is just like a colossal. That is correct.
Yeah.
It's a 10-point colossal, or whatever it is, 13-point colossal.
Yeah. I don't think it's 13, because I'm pretty sure Behemoth's still the most expensive one.
Might be 12.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, wait. I got 15 minutes. Bring up War Room.
Oh, you started up early. I already had it up.
Oh, snap.
That's how that works.
Imperatus is 12.
Yes.
Forwardcommander.com.
So is it Imperatus or is it Imperatus?
I say Imperatus because I think Imperatus sounds silly, but...
I think it sounds a little bougie. You know, it sounds a little too bourgeoisie, if you ask me.
Bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
Imperatus,
great.
if you think of the word imperative, that's what I'm thinking of when I hear Imperatus, whereas Imperatus, Emperor, doesn't begin with an E, it begins with an I.
It sounds like maybe if you were from Mississippi and you thought how emperor was supposed to be spelled. So the imp, it's the emperor.
But this is War Machine, where we still have Kador, Menoth.
No.
I want to punch people in their gonads if they say Menoth. Honest to sweet Lord baby Jesus.
Thank you, John. Because I feel the same way. Like I'm like in a tournament. I'm trying to be all friendly, and it's like all this stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I've been playing Menoth for a few years now. I'm like, there's a pronunciation guide in the rulebook. And it's like it's super obvious. Like you cannot get more obvious.
And okay, now then when you want to next level that hate, then you turn to him and say, no, you don't play Menoth, bitch. You play Protectorate. Menoth is a god. Protectorate is a faction.
Well, there you go.
Gotta get all next level on that stuff.
Whoa.
Got a lot of hate.
Wow. The argument I hear is there wasn't a pronunciation guide in Mark 1, so I guess that's how you're supposed to be able to tell the Mark 1 folks from the Mark 2, I guess. I don't know.
You're supposed to tell someone that has more experience by telling how wrong they are.
Well, when the people at the game company pronounce it different, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they would know. Just saying.
Okay, I'm just going to edit that comment right there in my own mind.
Mm.
Making the assumption that they know how to play their own game.
So,
I'm just saying they know how to pronounce their own names.
You'd think so. That's true.
So, John, you play Protectorate. You play Mercenaries.
Yep.
You play a little bit of Retribution.
Yeah. I own the faction.
What else?
I have Cygnar. Because I have Mercs, I almost automatically have Cygnar.
Yeah.
And then I have so I have all the War Machine factions except Kador.
You have the Convergence.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're War Machine. No, I don't have Convergence. I almost had Convergence, and then I discovered how ridiculous their models are to put together, and how poorly their plastics are molded.
And how just terrible looking they are.
Well, every time I hear a name of their infantry or one of their jacks, I just think I'm hearing the name of an adult pleasure toy.
Wow.
So you got the Donginator and the the Dominator and the Reciprocators and the whatever, I don't know. I can't.
All right, we get the idea.
I can't bring myself to come to grips with the whole names convention. So, and frankly, Hordes is almost beyond my intellectual capacity to understand how to run. So I'm pretty sure that the corollary and all that moving focus around would probably throw me into apoplectic shock.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You could do it, definitely, on camera.
But I have trolls now.
Oh.
And I am all in on trolls.
So how many units of orders do you have?
2. I have the requisite number. One is painted, one is yet to be painted. I play neither of them in my main lists.
Okay.
My number one
I'm
list
going to
is
you right now on your list. Give me your main list.
Okay, my main list right now is Madrak 2 with a Storm Troll and a Pyre Troll and Troll Moses.
Mm-hmm.
I have a full boat of Creel Warriors with 3 Caber Throwers. And I have a full unit of Fenblades with the UA. I have a full Creel Stone. I have the Chronic. I have a let's see here. I have a Fell Caller, and I think that's pretty much the list. I may be missing somebody, but I think that's the list.
No burrowers?
Nah. Burrowers hurt my mind. They're too complicated.
They're so good with Fury.
Oh, they're fantastic. But what else is really good with them are POW 13 Weapon Masters with Steady and Tough. And if you kill one of them, you fall over.
No, Creel Warriors are amazing.
Yeah, they're stupid with Blood Fury. I mean, and then you put Troll Moses in there so you can hot swap for free Blood Fury once. and it's such a fast list with the +2 prayer that the Creel warriors give that you can literally bring that whole list forward and say, I'm beyond the scoring zones, and with Madrak 2 being as unkillable as he is, you can force people out of, or you can force them to either do really dumb things from a scenario standpoint, or you can force them out of the zones and keep them out of the zones for an extended period of time. Plus, it's got the hitting power that if you end up, I played a list that had, it was a Xerxes list that was not Fist of Halak, but it was so far forward, and it had a Mammoth in the list that between Blood-Furied Benblades and some shooting from the Storm Troll, I was able to take the Mammoth down.
Nice.
So, I really love that list. And then my follow-up list to that is a Do Me 2 list that has Mulg, an Earthborn, a Mauler, and then I've got a Creel Stone in there. And I have the key to it for me is Lanissa Rissels in the list. And Lanissa Rissel's cool because not only do I get the +3 from the feat, I also get +2 from Hunter's Mark. And I've had some fun with some Chromac lists with that particular one where they'll be sitting there getting ready to double teleport, and then I'll end up sending a beast into a teleport stone, eat the stone, go into their next line, like into Getarex or whoever they're expecting to go out there and do bad things the next turn, and just eat them for lunch. And with Refuge, you can do that, and then underneath the feet, you can walk back, 8 inches away from all the mess.
That's fun.
Oh
That's
my god,
awesome.
it's some of the best grown-up relations I've had in a long time.
See, John, you're doing it. You're doing the Genki stuff. It's working.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, people can play these Meat Mountain lists. Bore the crap out of me. I've played the Gristle 2 Meat Mountain list once, and after playing that, I mean, it's totally like watching old people fornicate. It's just not good.
I do not have that experience, so I wouldn't know. But it seems like a slow grind.
Yeah, it's. I thought you meant the old people fornicating part.
All right, let's move on.
But it's terrible. It's a life commitment at the War Machine table that nobody needs to take. I mean, and I'm happy for Chad for getting into War Machine weekend qualifier based on that list, and it's strong. I mean, Armor 23 is not easy to deal with.
Oh yeah.
But I got a little something for the Meat Mountain at my next tournament. It's a little list I like to call the Meat Beater.
The Meat Beater?
Yes.
Nice.
And it brings Thyra to the party because Silence of Death answers a lot of questions that the trolls ask.
Thyra seems kind of cool. Seems like an interesting caster.
And Owen has some amazing tech with Thyra.
Yeah.
Thyra with Tristan and a Vigilant.
And,
Tristan has Fortify. So he takes a Vigilant in his battle group and puts Fortify in the Vigilant. So it gets it up to Armor 23. And it also gives the ability that anyone that's in base-to-base contact with that Jack has no knockdown. The Vigilant on top of that, when you're base-to-base with it, has within its rules girded. So no blast damage. So you occultate Thyra, stick it next to the Vigilant. It's stealth, no knockdown, no blast damage. Immortal.
I'll actually
that's anyway, right?
It's fabulous. Your only problem is if you see an Eris 2 across the table, you got to get her dead now. She is public enemy number 1.
Yeah, there's Iris, Gorman, the top culprits, the usual suspects.
Yeah, Eris has got to go because Fortify can't come off that Jack because could have a bad time.
Then all of a sudden you're knocked down. You're like, oh.
Not having so much fun anymore.
So is War Machine Weekend your next convention then, or is there
It sure is.
Okay.
It sure is. I'm going to be I made after going to TempleCon last year, where I drove to Rhode Island in the wintertime. I'll never do that again because I had replaced 3 tires from hitting potholes and all kinds of crap.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that was an expensive con. I had like $800 in repairs to my car.
Wow.
From driving there. And then I'm going to SmogCon in London in February. Yeah. One of the organizers over there got a hold of me, and they wanted me to come as sort of a guest of the show. And they were talking about some sponsorship and stuff like that. Well, that fell through, and that's fine. I don't need somebody to. They don't need to do that. So it was just very. It was very humbling to be asked to come over, and kind of be there as sort of a guest.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go there, and my girlfriend and I are going to go to London a week ahead of time. We'll be arriving in London on Valentine's Day. Unintentional romance. And then we're going to spend the week in London, and then we're going to go out to Heathrow, where the con is, and hang out with all the European brush heads. It's going to be super cool.
Nice. Very cool.
Yep.
February. Okay, so you probably won't be at the Las Vegas Open.
No.
What about Adepticon next year, you think?
Oh, yeah, I'm always at Adepticon.
Okay, well that's probably the next time I will see you then.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Look forward to, did you get to Lou Malnati's Pizza by any chance?
Probably. There were a bunch of Italian names that did not stick in my head of food I ate. So.
I'm somewhat of a connoisseur of the greater Chicago area food sort of offerings. Yeah. I will take you to out, and Dan, if you can make it, I don't know if you're going to or not, I will take you to Lou Malnati's, and we will have the best pizza you've ever had in your life.
You know what? Whenever like the Food Network's on, I don't watch it very often. I have a roommate who does, but it's like always like we're in Chicago at this amazing restaurant.
Yeah.
It's just like
food
there sounds great.
Food there sucks not even in the least.
I am planning a trip to Mexico, which is probably going to happen in April. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Adepticon is going to happen this upcoming year. I want it to. If I can do both, that'd be amazing. But we're going to see. We're going to see. Yep.
Which is the downside to conventions, is they can be very pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like your conventions turn into your vacations. Like, you don't really, because it's all your time off. That's all your money.
I haven't taken a vacation that wasn't a convention in, I don't remember.
Well, there you go.
2010?
Yeah, probably sometime before that would be the first time. But, you know, between giving away my stuff twice in the divorce process, there hasn't been a whole lot of cash in my pocket, but things are stabilizing once again, which is kind of fun. And then, I'm sure the viewers can see that pretty much I'm in a hotel right now. I travel quite a lot for Starbucks, and I end up with a fair amount of frequent flyer miles and hotel credits. So I can sometimes parlay those into cheap stays. Like the place that Warmachine Weekend is at is a Hilton property, so I actually am staying there for free.
Nice.
And hotels suck as far as the cost of going to a con.
Oh yeah.
Airfare ain't jack compared to what a hotel costs.
That's why you. I guess. Why you got it? Three guys in a bed.
Yeah, yeah. Until one of them tells you that they're not renegotiating, and you end up in the bathtub.
But then you get kicked off the couch. That's what I don't follow about the story. Is that you got screwed, and then this other guy was just being a little wimp.
Yeah. So I put all my stuff, my bag, everything, right on this couch. I didn't know how else to say. I mean, I guess I could put a sign on there that said, "This couch is mine. Stay the F off." I guess I could have put that on there, but that didn't happen. And I came in, and the guy's like laying there asleep. So what am I supposed to do? So I took the next available spot, and that didn't work out so well for me.
Good time. I was trying to get stuff in the chat, but it kind of seems like they're having their own conversation. Nothing super.
I can't even see the chat. How many people are watching us, by the way?
We got. We've been hovering around 20.
Oh, nice.
Although someone does ask if you have any Severius tips.
Severius. So my current Severius list that I'm running right now is where my Judicator lives.
Hmm.
Because while Fiora is super sweet with 4 focus being able to put on him, and the auto fire and all that kind of stuff, Severius makes it so you can actually hit with those what are going to be now 17 rocket pods. Because he gets the Judicator, it's Rat 5 down to 1 because of inaccurate, up to 3 with the Choir, up to 4 with I have Menoth, and then if he stands still, he's up to Rat 6. And what people are not expecting is a Rat 6 POW 17 from 14 inches away. And so he can actually hit with those darn things, and then he makes people super sad.
I've played so much with those kind of lists.
Man, that Severius will polish a turd harder than anybody in that faction. And he loves he loves bastions, because bastions all of a sudden, Mat 7 is that magical zone where you can pretty much count on missing every attack that you possibly absolutely need, but you're like way over on the non-critical stuff. Well, I have Menoth fixes that, and a Defender's Warded Judicator is a beautiful thing. And so when I run Severius with my Judicator, I will also take a minimum unit of Temple Flame Guard. And you're saying to yourself, why have you taken a minimum unit of Temple Flame Guard without the UA? The reason is that a lot of people will bring crazy, stupid stuff to go get Severius, which either has like a long range or maybe ambushes off the side like a bog trog or something like that. Well, you put this little curtain of guys in shield wall in front of him, and you just kind of rotate him around almost like a force field, and nobody can see him. He sits back there, and you open it up just long enough for him to he can move to the side and cast from ashes to ashes and get maybe 1 to 6 bounces off of that. Then close it back up, shield wall, can't see you, and I'll tell you what, I've had him just sit back there and victimize people.
Do you find that you have to bring the blessing with him or no?
The Blessing of Vengeance is wonderful with him. There's never a bad time to bring him. My current place where the Blessing of Vengeance lives, believe it or not, is in my Harbinger list. And you're asking yourself, well, why are you doing that? Because a devout is what's supposed to be in a Harbinger. Ask anybody. Well, what's cool about her is that in Mark II, when she finally got the ability to use arc nodes, Fear of God becomes suddenly relevant. Fear of God is an amazing spell, and being able to arc it out, and if that caster doesn't have purification, well, even if they do have purification, a lot of times they can be using purification at that point to cleanse off Fear of God, spending 3 focus to do something that you put on them. That's a win right there. Alternately, if they don't have a good way of getting rid of upkeeps outside of Eris 2, then they're shooting their own troops with Eris 2 to get Fear of God off, which is ultra win. That's almost as good as engaging Eris 2. So I really like that. My current build with Harbinger has the Blessing of Vengeance, mostly because every now and again that defensive strike is ultra clutch if somebody tries to come in and tries to engage it.
Yeah.
And being able to arc Fear of God, and then I have a Vessel of Judgment with her, with Rovan and the Bodyguard, because a stealth denial POW 15 boostable gun with Admonisher on it wreaks all kinds of havoc. You can pick out a Tartarus and snipe him out, and then it turns out that Bastion's in that list with Rupert, who is also in that list, where you have tough, essentially immortal Bastions with Pathfinder is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the list that I made for Harvey is actually, I took all of the WTC lists from last year and took every Protectorate of Menoth model that was popular and I grouped it into one list, and then added things only where it made sense. So, like, a Vessel of Judgment was popular, Harbinger was popular, in all these different lists, and then I just added 2 mechanics to the list to make the vessel run correctly, and kind of just put it all together. And it turns out that if you just take all the stuff that's popular in a faction and put it in one list, it's a good list.
Who would have thought?
I call the list Project Foundation because making a reference to Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, where he used psychohistory, which was using the mass trends of the population to predict the future. I used the mass trends of the WTC to predict a good list, and it's a good list.
It worked.
It turns out Harry Seldon may have been onto something.
There you go.
I loved just going through the WTC. I loved looking through the WTC lists and just seeing what kind of people were bringing what and what casters were prevalent. It's I'm really excited for that tournament.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see the job that that the Chain Tech guys do as far as doing the broadcast of it. I hope that they get a good internet stream there. I mean, they have a Twitch server just across the mountains, I guess, in Yugoslavia or some sort of Bosnia. Yeah.
If history of low budget events are any kind of indication, the first couple days are probably going to suck hardcore until they figure it out.
It's a mighty tall task to roll up on a country you've never been to and hope to pull off something as fiddly as a live broadcast.
Yeah, I don't care too much about a live broadcast. That's just like good quality VODs to watch later as well.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Hopefully those are there as well. But it's just interesting to see all the different lists. You're like, I wonder if anyone brought this caster or whatever. And I was sad because like I was looking at all the Cygnar lists. And I'm like, okay, I'm meeting Cygnar players. I'm like looking at Cygnar. It's just like Haley 1, Haley 2, Haley 1, Haley 2, Haley 1, Haley 2.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that is a pretty powerful pair.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful pair that, with the matchup system that they have, it gives you a lot of options if you get put up as either the predator or the prey, to make some good decisions. But yeah, it's boring as hell.
This last tournament, I played one game with P. Haley before, and then I played five of my 6 games with P. Haley at the tournament, and I am bored of her already. Like, I really don't want to play her it's a solid list, really strong, but it's just so boring.
Well, let's see. She's a 7 focus caster, right?
Yeah.
So she's going to cast TB for 4.
Yeah.
And Deadeye for 2. And she's going to upkeep Snipe.
She doesn't have Snipe. She Arcane Shield.
Arcane Shield, okay. Okie dokie, I'm out of focus.
I actually never cast Deadeye, or unless it was really, really important. But it was 2 focus to the Stormwall, upkeep Arcane Shield, usually grab from the Squire, and have 1, for Arcane Vortex, and then just pile the Techno Arcanist Core clouds around her and keep her safe, and they just moved up with my 2 Colossus. I had the Galleon with Gaston. Yeah, so it was really funny trying to keep Gaston alive, especially against that Legion match. He was like runs up an Angel and is like quarter of an inch from shooting Gaston. I was like, no! I was like, Gaston can no longer hide. There's no forest. There's nothing you can hide behind. So he ran up to a wall and survived the shot from Ravagore. But it was just like, this list is gonna get torn apart.
Well, I've played in Chicago. I've played in a couple of team events with Chad Kaufman, and I play Haley 1 for him against whatever he's going to bring in Circle. And it turns out that Haley 1 with, I think he played Kruger too, is as ball-busting a combination as you can ever imagine, because her ability to cast a Chain Lightning is situationally brilliant, and having TB up there for a circle army that's already mobile as all get out is just. I mean, here we push you back, and by the way, you're not going to run our charge, and oh man, so many of her spells. Cygnar casters are amazing in team tournaments because everything's friendly. Yeah, I mean, their spell list is almost universally friendly and not friendly faction. So you can put Arcane Shield on things that has no business whatsoever to have Arcane Shield on.
That's why we bring all the mercs.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to play Haley with trolls sometime because there's a match made in hell. Armor 24 Mug should not exist.
No.
Goodness.
The Mug we have now shouldn't exist, but whatever.
Mug's all cuddly. He just wants to give you a big hug.
Well, I think trolls don't get to have a lot of cool new war beasts because everyone's like, well, you just bring Mog and he does everything. If you bring something else and pair it with Mog, then you break the game. So that's the problems you have with giving them new models. It's why Cygnar kind of struggles in the casters because, well, you have Haley 2, and if we give you this, and you'll take it with Haley 2, and you'll break it.
Yep.
It's true.
Unless you create an animosity, which I heard one of my friends say was a really good idea. If you had, like, Mog, and then you had, like, another maybe character or non-character troll who's also real badass, but has an animosity to Mog, so you can't bring him in the same list, that could be interesting.
Animosity Warders. Animosity Warders would be good for the game.
It really would. I'm excited for Dynamo, which is the new character Cygnar Warbeast. I mean Warjack. Cygnar Warbeast. I don't know how he's going to function. No, Cygnar Warjack. I think he's due to come out in December, so it's a little ways away still. But he's a character Jack that's supposed to have affinity with Nemo.
So how is it that he gets multiple character Jacks? What's
because
the deal
Thunderhead isn't technically a character Jack of him. It's like it's fluff wise, he's like completely Nemo's Jack, but game wise, Thunderhead really isn't super special. I mean, he does have the movement buffs, which make him a lot stronger with Thunderhead, but there's no real super synergy.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm Thunderhead, I'm getting a complex. It's like, aw, man, I thought I was your one and only.
Thunderhead, he seems so little gameplay because he's just not that good compared. He's so pillow-fisted, right? He's amazing at taking on infantry, but we already have that.
Yeah.
In every single other possible combination.
Yeah, Cygnar. They do have a lot of problems with infantry clearing, don't they?
Very much so. But no, I've had some success with, like, for example, with Nemo, P-Nemo, you can give him 5 focus, and then you can be like fully boost like 3 shots into something. And you're like, nah.
He's just kind of like a poor man's death check at that point.
Well, there you go. There you go. And his pulse is always great for like stealth models and stuff. They're like running up and around. You're just like,
yep, followed by
12, isn't it? I mean, it's good for anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Miranda has played against Thunderhead.
I have. I lost a lot of mana ward to it. Oh no, I lost Boomhowler and company.
Yeah. I slaughtered Boomhowler. I pulsed. Your guys toughed, but they got knocked down, and I.
Yeah. You're like, I see everybody behind you.
I was very happy with that move.
It's a fun game.
That sounds kind of bad for Boomhowler and his boys.
Yeah. It was an unpleasant experience.
I just got a Facebook message from one of my guest hosts, Zosha Starscream. She just said she was watching. So she's enjoying all of this. She's certainly enjoying all of this talk that we're having about the Cygnar because she's Swans for life.
Yeah, it inevitably comes up because I play so much of the Cygnar, but they performed well. There was 3 Cygnar players in the top 8 in the last tournament we did, so there was a lot of Haley players.
Go figure. Who would have expected it? Who'd have thought?
I know, right? Actually, okay, I was not going to play P. Haley. I was going to play Darius, double Stormwall, but I forgot my half-jacks at home.
That shit's terrifying.
No, right? I'd never played it before, my other friend had a storm wall he wasn't using, and it was like, wait, we could do this. And I'm like, oh, I brought Darius and everything, because I made my list in the hotel the night before because I was like so busy with other stuff. I was like, no, let's make some lists on the fly.
That's how you always make your lists every single time. I swear they're all written on a napkin.
It's true. That's how I prosper. Is like I'm just like, let's do this. This is how the vibe I'm feeling, and then boom, and I'm more successful than if I plan out these rigid lists. I have to have some room to breathe. But anyways, I was like, Darius double Stormwall, let's do it. And then I couldn't find my half jacks. My half jacks were right there still on my.
It's a good place for him, Dan.
Yeah, I know, not in my bag. So I was like, nah. And so I thought about petitioning other people for half jacks, which I have done before at a tournament. Where I'm like, I don't have the models I need, and right before the tournament, I just asked everyone and their friends if they have these models. I ended up getting them and played some minion lists with Rask. But anyways, that was a story for another time. I didn't have any half jacks, so I had to play the P. Haley broken list, which turned out to be boring but very successful. I'm not gonna do it again.
So Darius's Wrecking Crew theme list, I've seen way too many times on Brunch Machine with Menoth John, and it is terrifying.
Wait, did they bring double Stormwall with it?
No, they brought I think 2 Centurions, and that jack is damn near impossible to deal with because not being able to charge it brings most of my. I mean, anybody that brings Weapon Masters on a regular basis, if you can't charge with a Weapon Master, they just suck. And so you're left to deal with. It's got all kinds of jacks in it, and it's just a ton of work to deal with. I don't remember all the specifications on it, but my iPad's over there, and I'm not going to go get it. So
actually bring that Wrecking Crew list with 3 Hammersmiths.
Wow.
Just because full throttle with Hammersmiths means you can charge and actually hit things with your Mat 6, and then you beat back and you kill more things. Except if there's something really, really hard to kill with really high armor, then you're kind of SOL, and you have to work your way around it. But that's pretty fun anyways. But at that note, we've talked for a little over an hour here, so I think we're going to wrap it up.
Cool. Well, I have had a hell of a good time.
Well, that's good. I never know. I just start talking, and I'm like, and something happens. Something comes out. I hoped it was interesting and entertaining.
Well, the best part about getting on one of these things is shooting the bull, and I think most people enjoy getting on, listening to folks that are just having a nice conversation sometimes.
It's always interesting. I mean, as well, I listen to these like your show or a lot of the podcasts. Just you paint and listen because there's not a whole lot else going on other than watching us make faces at each other. So.
Yeah, I very nice. So let me see here. I gotta bring up Let me see if I can bring up the thing that I was playing with when I was on. Let's see here. There's this thing. There's a tool on here. Here, Google Effects. This is good times right here. So for those of you who remember my appearance on Dice Rage Live, will remember this one quite well. Yes, this is the greatest thing about doing a Google Hangout compared to how I do my show. Is the randomized effects button.
You almost have as good as a beard as I do.
Exactly. Yours is far more magnificent.
Wow.
Well, you've got like the double mustache going though, so.
Yeah, because that's not confusing. How boring is that? Wait a second here. We got to do something here about this. Keep on randomizing. I'll find a good one. I can't believe I haven't gotten a clown head yet. It's randomized to nothing. Okay, there we go. I think I'm going to leave this one on until the end of the show.
Wow.
All right. I might as well jump in that.
Come on, join us, Miranda.
No.
Oh, that's terrible.
Hold on. I barely navigate Google as it is, and I don't know how to do this.
I'm going to go with a pirate hat, I think.
There you go.
No, oops, that's boring. Wait a second here. Yeah. So I certainly urge anyone who's watching this to, if you haven't watched a Painting with Menoth John, you can have more of this fun and frivolity with my co-host John Spencer, the co-host with the host. We do it on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/MenothJohn. Also available in rebroadcast on YouTube.com/MenothJohn. facebook.com/Menoth John.
Sweet, and I'll put those links in the description for you guys to check out. Laters, for all you guys that are watching the VOD. But hey, John, it's been great fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
I would love to do it again sometime if you'd like to have me back on.
We'll let you know.
It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Alrighty, any?
Sorry to our lovely audience that we didn't pay so much attention to this time around. I'm sorry, guys.
It's true. Now, if people, Chad is very upset that we're leaving, but you know what, Chad? Life is just full of disappointment.
Wow.
You have to get over it.
Not we'll see you in 2 weeks, but too bad. That's
Life is
life.
full of disappointment. Have a fun 2 weeks.
All right, yeah. 2 weeks, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll see you guys then. Any final words, Miranda / John?
Look out for my channel. Someday I will put something awesome up. It's gonna be pretty cool.
And I'll just say, hey, Ron!
All right. Very well, gentlemen. And maybe a woman if they're watching. Good for you. All right, bye.